New World, a God Dream. I will restore to you that in which the locust has eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken. Every human being of planet Earth to see through the shifts that will occur in phases as we all, as individual human beings, as we all, as individuals, as human beings, as individual human beings, shift into higher states of being, shift into higher frequency patterns of being, shift into higher, more expansive consciousnesses. These shifts will happen in phases. All of the phases of the shifts of the human being of planet Earth will be completed by the year 2030 of the Gregorian calendar. All of the shifts of the phases of the shifts of the human being of planet Earth will be complete by the year 2030 of the Gregorian calendar. I will restore unto you that in which the locust has eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken. With being a human being of planet Earth with the expanded consciousness dwelling within the high frequency patterning of planet Earth past the year 2030 of the Gregorian calendar, of the timeline of the human beings of planet Earth, you will be aligned with divinity, aligned with your higher self. You will be an immortal human being of planet Earth. I will restore unto you that in which the locust has eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken. You will be an immortal human being of planet Earth. An analogy to the download that I just received. A new, more compassionate perception of humanity and reality. Let's say you got an animatronic toy that comes with presets. Let's say it's like a toy robot and it comes with presets. There are specific things it says in factory mode. And you have the option to change that animatronic toy robot into a customizing mode where you can customize what the toy robot says and does. Humanity, until we meet our souls, we are operating out of factory mode. There are a set limited precepts, understandings, actions, words that we're able to operate out of. Until we meet our souls and are introduced to our customized energy, customized presets, customized understandings. When you're birthed into a family of presets, factory, when you're birthed into a family that's within factory mode, you take on that factory mode consciousness. Myself, I was like born a hybrid. I was born a hybrid. So I was born like activated. I was born conscious, semi-conscious understanding of a conscious understanding of reality, a conscious understanding that our realities are ours to create, a conscious understanding that there are no limits to what you can do and be within reality. I was born with this knowing, but I was born into a factory mode environment where, we were operating within the precepts within the home or the ego within the home. But I could perceive the customized energies of the people within the home, people within my school, people within my reality. I could perceive the customized, but we're operating out of the factory mode. The days of Atlantis. a symbiotic relationship between the high priestess and the high priest, in which results in monumental force, wisdom, power. To manipulate, bend reality, shape reality, form reality into at the behest of one's will. I received a download a while ago. Atlantis became... There's many timelines to Atlantis. There's timelines where they elevated in consciousness to the point where they are not perceivable by our domain of reality. There's timelines in which Atlantis, the city of Atlantis, became the lost city of Atlantis because they focused on, their creations, their manifestations, or the process of creation, of utilizing one's self-mastery in order to shape and form reality. Focus so much, the high priestess and high priest focus so much on utilizing one's mastery to shape, form, bend reality that with the conscious mind, consciousness, the technology of consciousness, that they became dysfunctional within self, became dysfunctional with one another in the home, which led to, the dismantling of Atlantis, making it the lost city of Atlantis. That is a timeline. There is a timeline where Atlantis is thriving and well in dimensions, frequencies of reality in which are perceivable through extrasensory abilities, through perception, sensories beyond touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight of the old conformist human culture. In every relationship I've encountered within my reality, I always yearn to be met at a deeper space, deeper level. I felt as if I was prying more, whatever more is, I was prying from others in my relationships and dynamics in my reality. Family, friends, lovers. I now realize that this yearning to be met at a deeper level was me, my God self, my God source self, my oneness of all things self, crying out for me to go within, to meet myself on that deep, intimate level that I yearned for so deeply. We've created a theological understanding, ideology, that the human being of planet Earth is only worthy of death and judgment. What do you mean by that, Ashley? If our bodies are not rejuvenating, they are decaying or dying. We've created a understanding, a esteem of self, of humanity, as only deserving judgment and death. But in all actuality, if we forgo the ideology of judgment, if we forgo the ideology that everything isn't as it is when it should be, if we forgo the ideology that there is a grand plan and everyone is experiencing dimensions of the plan as they are, when they are, as they are, we allow ourselves to elevate into appreciating, gleaning, learning from everything that is occurring in every moment in order to access the understanding and the appreciation of oneness of all things, in order to activate rejuvenation of the human vessel, in order to activate the understanding that humanity is not separate from any dimension of creation, any aspect of God. Understand that humanity is a creation within the dimensionality and aspects of God, creating in order to assist with the elevation and growth of the aspects and dimensionality of God. The Cabal wasn't an overnight schematics or plan of how to suppress the human being on planet Earth. the Cabal dwelled and derived, was a derivative of how the human culture, beings of humanity, treated oneself. And in turn, how the human culture of planet Earth perpetuated the dysfunction within self, within the society of the human culture of planet Earth. We like to point fingers and blame, but the dysfunction is a pattern. It's a pattern of actions and energies and actions that derive from the internal space of how the human being of planet Earth relates with oneself. What are you saying, Ashley? In order to break free from the patterns of actions and energies, in order to break free from the patterns of energies and actions in which enslave the human consciousness to proclivity of self-loathing, proclivity of self-doubt, proclivity of selflessness, proclivity of lack of self-esteem, lack of pride, lack of progression within the human consciousness, lack of love of the human within the human consciousness. I am the Cabal. I'll own the energy. I am the Cabal. I am the suppression that says the human being is only worthy of judgment and death. I am the suppression that says the human being is only worthy to give away its soul's energy in order to accumulate things of this planet. I am that energy. And I transmute this energy of feeling as if your soul's energy is in any way comparable or compatible to the things of nature in which say you must exchange your energy for other things of nature. I am perceiving a vision clairvoyantly within my mind's eye. When I just recorded that segment, I had some resistance because I am a product of the human consciousness. I am partly a product of the human consciousness that says we barter and exchange commodities, goods. In my mind's eye, clairvoyantly, I am seeing a energetic bubble. Let's say it's red in color, and it's swelling and swelling and swelling. It's getting, this energetic bubble is getting larger and larger and larger. Why, Ashley? Because within the energetic bubble, it is cultivating and creating and blossoming and blooming more creation within and of itself. I ask myself, how, why, like how? I know, I feel like I know why. I know why, so that you're not codependent on other elements external to yourself and not shrinking yourself or converting yourself in order to relate with or create with other elements, but you are creating and cultivating within self in order to create crops and blossom and bloom and cultivate all that it is that you desire, need, and want within your creation. But I'm like, how? As I've been channeling, we are multidimensional beings with access to energies from many spaces, places, dimensions, realms of creation. It's not our job to focus on the how, the schematics, or the function. Not necessarily, that function is not the word. Focus on the operation, the operative system of creation, but to focus on our energy body or our mental patterning or our emotional patterning or our spiritual patterning. At this time, I'm experiencing many energetic transformations as below, so above. I'm allowing my energetic transformations to be represented in my physical reality, within myself and within my physical reality. And I just gleaned on my morning walk, just gleaned that these energetic embodiments are karma, good karma from, really there is no good and bad karma, because any karmic energy, it serves to teach you a lesson, it serves to grow you. So karma from lifetimes in Arcturus, the Arcturus star system as an Arcturian, which is pretty cool. Parts of myself are like, what? Parts of myself are like, oh, no way, sis, how you know that? And then other parts of myself are like, this is who I am. You know, it's a part of my authenticity, because it's something that this world can't train me into, but it's something that I had to go within myself and untrain myself from identifying as the energies in which I embody, in order to allow, my movie reel to start moving and not be stagnant on the one scene of who I thought I was. Everything in creation. I'm going to try to orate this download as cool as I got it. Everything in creation. Firstly, I was guided to create a pictograph, a visualization. I was guided to create 3, let's just say, circles. 3 circles in the form of a triangle. So in the form of an isosceles triangle. If you were to draw lines to connect the 3 circles, the 3 circles would create an isosceles triangle. I drew the 3 circles. I mirrored 3 circles below the 3 circles that, if you draw lines, it creates an isosceles triangle with the point or the circle in which creates the point on the triangle with the I guess it really doesn't matter, but like the point on the triangle, which has like the longest length away from the other 2 triangles, that point is mirrored to the other 3 points. If you draw a line to connect the other 3 points to the other 3 circles, it would create a triangle, an isosceles triangle. I duplicated the same pictograph, symmetrical to the 3 dots, mirroring the 3 dots. And I got the download. Everything in creation stems from 12 points of creation. And everything in creation is a whole in and of itself. So these 12 points of creation are wholes in and of themselves. They are whole, operative, functioning systems, designs, creations in and of themselves. And these whole points, systems, functions, designs that contribute to dimensionality, one dimensionality of the 12 dimensionality that make the whole. So we ask, why is 12 such a pertinent number in creation? 12 is the number of creation. But it all just depends on your perspective of how you're looking at it. Our bodies, we say we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. It's actually 24. But one of the pairs are invisible or quantum, so we can't detect it or them, the pair that's quantum. Then we can't detect the pairs of chromosomes in our cells that are quantum, but there are 24 pairs and not 23 pairs of chromosomes in our cells, in our cellular creation. I channeled that there are 12 families that are coming together to consummate this new age of creation. The human being of planet Earth is one creation. The human being of planet Earth is one creation. The human being of planet Earth is one creation. And just like there were the 12 tribes of Israel that seeded this generation of the culture of the human being of planet Earth, with how the 12 tribes of Israel related with each other and created with each other in order to assist with co-creating this generation of the human being of planet Earth. The new human being of planet Earth, the new culture of the human being of planet Earth is one new culture of human being of planet Earth, which the 12 families, the 12 tribes that are to consummate and assist with the co-creation of the new human being of planet Earth, the new one human being culture of planet Earth is doing that, co-creating the one human being culture of planet Earth. Everything in creation. So that is synonymous, analogous to 12 being pertinent in the process of creation. And in my mind's eye, I can see how the 12 dimensions, functions, points, or aspects within creation, they magnetize and relate with each other in order to continue the function or continue the operation or continue the creation. You know, as you relate with different dimensions and aspects, it creates a new energy. If you relate with something, you're creating a new energy. These 12 dimensions, when they relate with each other, they magnetize with each other. They move. They create kinetic energy. Is what we call it, motion. When you're in motion, you're creating kinetic energy. Create new energy when the 12 dimensions or aspects relate with each other. So in my mind's eye, I can see these points, moving and magnetizing away from and to each other in order to create, relate, and expand. And if these points were to come alive on this page, they would create colors, different colors out of their existence, out of their beingness, out of their dimensionality, out of the aspects in which they are. There is a science to breeding. Let me stop turning up. I'm just excited. I'm not upset. I'm excited. There is a science and a math to breeding or procreating as human beings. Let's say a woman is going to a sperm bank to choose her the semen, choose the semen to inseminate her to have a child. And she says, oh, I want them to be educated. I want them to be this nationality or culture or race. I want them to be this height. That's not it. That's not the science. That's not the math. What we can perceive with our human senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing, what we can think about in our minds, the thoughts we can cultivate in our minds, the thoughts that we can cultivate in our minds, humanity, the thoughts that we can cultivate in our minds are extremely limited. The thoughts in which we can cultivate in our minds are extremely limited. The thoughts in which we can cultivate in our mind are extremely limited. And this is purposeful. Why, Ashley? Because the thoughts that we cultivate are not our own creation, but they're gifted to us. The thoughts that we can cultivate are not our own creations, but they are gifted to us. Every thought we think are not our own creation. They're gifted to us for what? For growth, for learning, for expansion. To be able to create and apply the gifts of energies and thoughts that we're gifted in order to multiply creation, expand within creation. There is a science to breeding, but it's far past this planet. And why are our cultures imbalanced? Why our cultures diseased? Why are our cultures dysfunctional? Because we decided what is correct. We decided what is balanced. We decided what makes sense, what is logical. That's how we create. What makes sense? What's logical? When our understandings, our logic is extremely limited. We're stepping into an age of creation where we're stepping into the fold of the understanding that we're limitless creations limitless energies having a human experience within a limitless creation called God. A multifaceted plethora, infinite creation called God. Not a one person, not a one man, not a one woman, but a quantum, above quantum, which is really, really cool that I'm getting this download. We know quantum energy as like, whoa, 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 what is that? That's magic. That's spooky. That's spooky work. There are energy dynamics beyond. There are complicated energy dynamics beyond quantum energy. Whoa. There are complicated energy dynamics beyond quantum energy. Complicated only because we have not been gifted the precepts, understanding, and energies to be able to glean, learn from, and grow with the energy dynamics that are above and beyond quantum energy. I'm downloading now. I'm getting the understanding now that our human culture has scientists and facilities and governmental programmings and scientists, private and public, that are well versed in understanding in quantum energies. There are energy dynamics that are more complicated than quantum. And we're going to start receiving these more complicated understandings of energies past quantum energy. I'm excited. Restorative energies, where energy seems to dissipate only to reintegrate into reality or creation as its original form, or transmuted into another form, alchemized into another form. Restorative energies. Okay, I'm not even going to try to be super cool about this. This download, this understanding that I was just guided to, that I found inside of myself, my Akashic record, the oneness of all things, my ancestors, the oneness of all things, God, the oneness of all things, my Akashic record. This understanding that I was just guided to, Bena, Gnosis, intuitive knowledge, intuitive understanding, intuitive wisdom. I'm not even going to front. Like, this is not super a big deal. So our understandings of creation have been inverted. We understand creation in a very inverted template, which was always intended in order for us to figure our way out of the inversion. And as we do so, we gain so much wisdom. It's like just like in a Rubik's cube. The Rubik's Cube. You like the Rubik's Cube, when you buy it, it's not all disheveled, but you disshuffle it in order to figure the puzzle out again for mastery purposes. The inverted template of our understanding of reality wasn't a punishment. It was for mastery purposes, for us to master ourselves in order to garner the power and the wisdom of self, or the oneness of all things, our ancestors, the oneness of all things, God, ourself, and in all actuality have 0 degrees of separation. This wisdom that I found inside of myself, I'm not going to front with you, is so beautiful that, like, ooh, like, I'm like, we need to kiss our own feet, kiss other people's feet. Like, it's like, So whenever you create something, right, you always want to improve on the creation, right? You don't have a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 version of something without the 2.0, 3.0 being a reworked and upgraded model, without the 4.0 being a reworked and upgraded model from the 3.0, without the 5.0 being a reworked and upgraded model from the 4.0, without the 6.0 being a reworked and upgraded model from the 5.0. Our children. We don't have our children. We don't make our children. Our children make us. Okay? We don't create our children. Our children create us. The point of our creation is to create the next creation, or the improvement, or the 3.0, the 4.0, the 5.0, the upgraded, reworked, revamped model or version of creation. We don't make our children make us. We're created to make a better creation. We don't create our children create us. We are created to create a better version. We don't create our children create us, as our creation is to create a better creation. I channeled in the Kingdom Things podcast installment entitled Pieces that there are 12 families bringing in the new age of unconditional love, the new reality on planet Earth. Everything works in cycles. So since the beginning of time, the new age of unconditional love on planet Earth has been unfolding. We're playing it out in physical reality. So these 12 families, when we have our children, that's going to activate. We have our own journeys as people, as individuals. We have our own journeys in which we're activating into new levels of self, in which magnetize the family together in order to create the family as we master ourselves to the point where we're able to magnetize together in this physical reality. And this equates to having, this includes having our children in the physical reality, which is magnetizing the creation is a physical reality. This will upgrade this upgrades the levels of mastery, which upgrades our levels of energies in which we embody, which magnetize new realities unto planet Earth, heaven on earth. The 12 families. The 12 families will seemingly be diverse in ancestry when you look through the scope of planetary culture, human culture. The 12 families have galactic, intergalactic, beyond our understandings of reality, omniverse, oneness of all things, God, ancestry that stem back to creation from the beginning of creation. Energetically, the 12 families are very much so ancestors related, of the same ilk, of the same ancestry, or I'm channeling the energy. It wants to come through like a galactic royalty or creation royalty, through hereditary. But the way I want to perceive it is, I understand that power comes from wisdom and knowledge. And you garner wisdom and knowledge from experience within God or creation. It's not who you know, it's not where you've been, but it's the wisdom and knowledge that you've garnered from your experience. So these 12 families have ancestral heritage, galactic, intergalactic, beyond our understanding of creation, oneness of all things, God, goddess, essence, heritage, energetic patterns that we're bringing to this plane of creation called planet Earth, bringing to the human culture of planet Earth. The 12 families of the new age of unconditional love to be consummated on planet Earth will seem to be diverse, but we have cosmic, intergalactic, galactic, beyond our understandings of creation, the oneness of all things, God, ancestral heritage from the ilk of beginning, age, old wisdom and power. There is a reality in which we know as time-space, or space in which operates through time, i.e. the calendar, year, date, month, hour. There is a space that operates through time, i.e. the calendar, year, date, month, time. There is a time, there's a space in which operates through time, i.e. Year, month, day, time, hour, time, space in which operates through time. time-space continuum. Time-space continuum. We are eligible, able now with the frequencies of planet Earth, the frequencies inundating the planet, the frequencies that we have available within the human consciousness. We are capable and eligible to ascend into conscious awareness of spaces outside of time. And these spaces outside of time are or evade the proclivity of the continuum. Oxford Languages defines continuum as a continuous sequence in which adjacent elements are not perceptibly different from each other, although the extremes are quite distinct. We have been living in karmic patterning, or a continuum of events in which we perpetrated which give me a second, let me catch this word, which only cause the summation of the results from the past sequence of creation, or the past history of humanity, i.e. the notion of death, i.e. the notion of disease, i.e. the notion of war, i.e. the notion of dysfunction. Is a continuum within our space in which we operate through time. With this continuum in which we operate through time, it's only been a continuum or a continuous sequence in which adjacent elements are not perceptibly different from each other, although the extremes are quite distinct, with a effect or cause and effect of death, dysfunction, war, disease, famine, poverty, because of the operating through the planetary energies or karmic energies, instead of ascending within self. As we focus on others, we're operating through this time, space, continuum of dysfunction, poverty, disease, death, famine. As we seek to understand that in which dwells within our plane of time and space, when we go within and ascend into higher consciousness, we're able to evade the proclivity of the time, space that operates through time, or the continuum, a continuous sequence in which adjacent elements are not perceptibly different from each other, although the extremes are quite distinct.